Welcome back to the Chitty Chitty Chat Chat. I am so excited that you're here today. I've been if I'm just gonna have a moment of being honest, I've been so overwhelmed. Like, I've had so much going on, I've had so much on my plate. I am actually recording this episode a day later than I normally do. I normally release these on Wednesday mornings. But nonetheless, it's Thursday. I'm recording this. I'm here to talk with you, and I do have a story to tell you because I think this story really matters. I think you're going to maybe see yourself in this story, and then we can kind of like work out some of the kinks when it comes to this sort of thing. So, this is going to be my podcast episode on do not be a Actually, let me just forewarn you. I'm about to cuss a little bit in this episode. So if you have children around, earmuffs, put in the headphones. But this is my podcast episode on don't be a baby back bitch, okay? So last night I almost let myself spiral out of control, like full victim mode. And it takes a lot for me to get there. And most of the time, I'm so triggered by people playing the victim that I feel like I catch myself on that all the time. So I don't know how this happened, but like I said, I've had a lot going on. So you easily fall into this mode sometimes. But I truly had this moment where I was full on literally saying to myself, like, maybe this doesn't work anymore type energy. My business, by the way, is what I'm talking about. Like, do I need to burn this to the ground? And I was full on questioning every single thing that I'm doing. Whew, that was a tough moment. And I caught myself, but not until this morning. Because here's the juice of what happened. I ran a live masterclass last night at 7 p.m., which I've also decided I don't like doing things at nighttime. So that's a whole other story. Like, I'm still figuring out, even though it's been a couple years that I've had my business, I'm still figuring out like how to build this business around my life versus building my life around my business. That's always a work in progress. And I learn things about myself all the time. But nonetheless, I ran a live masterclass last night. It was called Create Her at 7 p.m. Eastern. This is the same masterclass that I ran in 2025. And I did change the curriculum because that's another thing. I pulled up the PowerPoint that I used from last year when I ran this, and I'm like, what in the actual F? Like, I am not that girl anymore. It felt so fluffy, even though I got a lot of good feedback on last year's masterclass. I was reading through like the slides and stuff, and I'm like, my goodness, like, what was this? I was in a different planet back then. But either way, when I ran this same masterclass last night, I was feeling some type of way because the numbers of people who opted in were drastically different. So in 2025, when I hosted this masterclass, I had close to 100 people sign up for this. This year, I had just over 30. That's a steep decrease in people for the same masterclass. Like, what do you mean? 100 people last year and 30 people this year? So for a moment, like just a moment, by the way, I let that mean something that it didn't mean. And this is embarrassing, but I even said to my husband after I was finished with the masterclass, like, maybe masterclasses are out in 2026. Like, maybe this is not a thing anymore, which is so funny. Like, I was like not even 24 hours ago, and I feel like I've already evolved and like healed from that. I almost didn't tell this story too because I worry that I will offend the 30 people that did opt in. And that's another thing that I'm done with in 2026. Like, I am so grateful for those 30 people, and 30 people is a lot. Like, let me just say, it's like one of those things, like if I opened my front door and there were 30 people in line to come into my house, I wouldn't look down the line and be like, "Nope, I need more," and close my door. Like, let me just be real for a minute. 30 people is a lot, and I'm very grateful for that. But when you're comparing yourself to yourself, it's like, geez, going from 100 to 30, that's crazy. So this morning, also, wait, let me just back up. Oh my gosh, I'm so squirrel brain right now, but I wanted to just say thank you to those of you who did come to the masterclass and you did sign up for the masterclass. Like, you mean everything to me. And so I didn't want to let that moment pass without saying that. But this morning I woke up and after sleeping on it, I said to myself, you're not going to feel bad for yourself. You're going to look at the numbers. Like, you're going to actually go back to last year when you hosted this, and you're going to find the proof that you didn't do enough this year. And I knew that. Like, I had this innate feeling that I was going to actually see where I went wrong. And for a minute, I was like, it's probably in the messaging of how I promoted the class. And I didn't realize it was going to be such a big difference in some of the other things. So that's what I did. I spent 30 minutes looking at the amount of times that I shared in my stories about this masterclass, the amount of times that I created a post with a ManyChat trigger on it, and the amount of times that I sent an email. Like those were the three things that I looked at. And what I found, you guys, quite literally changed everything. So let me just paint the picture for you before we get into the receipts. I have had a lot on my plate, like truly a lot. I 2 weeks ago I hosted my first ever retreat in Florida. That was so fun, by the way, but super like a lot of stimulation, overstimulating. And as much as I am like I would say I'm an extrovert. Like I am very social. I love being around people. I love people, but I do not I find energy in solitude. So like flying there, hosting, being around people, it exhausted me. But in the best way, again. But then to add to that, the day I got home, my parents came into town. And when your parents are in town, like you are, again, you're around people all the time. And it was so cool that they came for a week, but it was like, okay, I wasn't able to like fully recharge and just kind of like sit in my home and isolate myself. And then my sister, who is my best friend, she opened up a brick and mortar, like a studio locally. Like she had her grand opening within a week of me coming home from my retreat. And I'm a big part of her business as well. And I obviously am going to go support my sister. So I've just been doing the most in my personal life and in my business. And I didn't even like, there's also some other things that are happening in my personal life that I'm not going to talk about right now that are going on that just, it feels heavy. So there's a lot on my plate. And between all of that, somewhere in there, I truly, as you can probably understand, I let my marketing of this masterclass, my inviting of this masterclass fall to the wayside. Like, not completely, but enough. And I actually say this all the time. Like, I literally coach on this. I can't believe that I let myself fall into my own trap, but I also, like, I give myself grace because I know, like, it makes sense why this happened. And I wouldn't do it differently. So that's another thing is like, I'm not the type of person that needs to be told to rest. I'm not the type of person that like you don't need to tell me like you need to, be nice to yourself. Like I'm very nice to myself, okay? But I'm also a coach and I coach myself and that's why I'm successful. So again, I believe that content and inviting, so content and marketing are not the same thing in my opinion, but content and inviting are the two things that are needed to grow a brand using social media as the means of getting into my world, like period. Content and inviting, the two things. And you have to be able to, like, at least in the beginning, and honestly, whenever you're like even not in the beginning, just go absolutely crazy when it talks about when we talk about like full force talking about your business, inviting into your spaces. Like go absolutely crazy. And I believe that you should do that unapologetically, like relentlessly. Be annoying, be front and center all the time. And I will tell you, when it came to this masterclass that I hosted last night, I did not do that this time. And I thought that I did, which is crazy. Like I was blinded to that for a little bit and I thought that I was showing up. I thought that I was doing the work but when I actually like looked at the stats this morning, the truth hit me and slapped me in the face, truly. So, let me explain what I mean. When I looked at the last time that I hosted this masterclass in 2025, I showed up in my Instagram stories for 13 days to invite people to this masterclass. 13 days, that's almost 2 full weeks. And I'm not even talking just like, okay, here's the pretty graphic, here's the link to join. I went and put like a full Instagram story sequence together for 13 days talking about this masterclass. And every single time I showed up, it was a different story that I was saying. Like I was full on obsessed and excited. You could tell because I was coming at this masterclass from different angles, different entry points, like different ways to get other people excited by showing my excitement. It just felt like I didn't have a cap on my obsession for what I was inviting into last year. But this year, I only showed up in my stories 7 days. Like that's half the freaking inviting, first of all. And the 7 days that I did show up were half-assed. Like I will literally admit to you, I was like doing it because I knew I had to do it just to check the box, like knowing I need to invite. So here I go. I'm going to go invite. Like it was truly one of those things where I read back and like I myself wouldn't have even opted into this masterclass. Okay, so in addition to that, in 2025, I sent 5 emails to market the Create Her Masterclass. And this year I actually sent 6. So I actually outdid myself there, but that's the only place where I outdid myself. So anyway, here's the kicker. In 2025, I created 16 feed posts. So whether that was a carousel, a static photo, or a reel, I created 16 feed posts that supported this masterclass. And in those posts, in the caption, 16 times, I had a quote unquote call to action with my ManyChat trigger word. Like people were commenting create her, which is the trigger word, everywhere. 16 opportunities for people to opt in before this masterclass went live. I also went live on Instagram a couple times to talk about this, which this year I didn't do that at all. So that's another thing. But when I talk about the feed posts from this year with the trigger word, I did 5, you guys. 5. 5 versus 16. That's a drastic difference in the output and the effort to get people into this free masterclass. So when I looked at those numbers this morning, and a lot of times like I don't look at data because I'm moving at such a rapid pace that it's like, I think data is important and I think making decisions from data is important, but sometimes it's like it slows me down, especially when we're talking about engagement on social media. Like that's something that I do not let own me or run me. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, I was having this moment where I was like, okay, I don't feel bad for myself anymore. I actually feel obviously disappointed in myself, but more so like relieved because it wasn't that the master classes aren't in 2026 or that master classes don't work or that people don't want to come to master classes. It was that people aren't seeing it. It's not even that people aren't interested. It's like people are busy out there living their lives. Like if you're not front and center, if you're not talking about your shit all the time, people aren't seeing it. And so it was simple. I didn't do the work. And that's actually good news to me. Because here is what I want you to understand. When the numbers are down and you don't know why, that is scary. Like that doesn't feel good. It feels like the world, the universe is like telling you that you're doing something wrong or like you're on the wrong path or that this is going to be really hard or that there's like a long journey in front of you before you can get to what you want. And it kind of like subconsciously makes you feel like you're not as good as you thought you were for a minute. But when when the numbers are down and then you can define exactly why, that's power. Like that's powerful because now I have something to fix. Now I know the gap to close. I know that I have proof that when I do the work, it works. I need to say that again, actually. When you do the work, it works. And I don't know how to stress this enough, but even though I still showed up 7 times in my Instagram stories, the quality of my show up game was very poor. So if I would have just shown up 7 times and I would have done it like 12 out of 10, like really proud of this masterclass, I think that would have also shifted the numbers a little bit. But again, it's like you can't just check the box here. That's not what this game is. So it's like these 2025 numbers were right there in front of me. I showed up 13 days. I got close to 100 opt-ins. I posted 16 times, 100 opt-ins. And then I show up this year, 7 days, 5 posts, just over 30. The math is not complicated. Like the math is mathing. So here is like where this gets interesting because I could have just said like, okay, I didn't do enough. I'll do more next time. And that would be true because that's like actually how I feel. I'm definitely going to do more next time. But that's like also very surface level. And that's not what we do here. Like in my world, this is bigger than just building like a cute Instagram business. And a lot of this is like really tied to our heart. It's tied to our soul. It's tied to who we are inside that the world can't witness, but we experience every single day. So the deeper truth is that I, for a moment, like let my limiting beliefs creep in before I even tried to like complete the story with data. Like I truly could have been my own worst enemy in that moment and it could have spiraled out of control and impacted everything that I did today or worse, like for the next week or month. I could have like let that story of maybe this doesn't work anymore take root inside of me before I gave myself like a full-on chance to see what's actually happening. And that is the trap. That is the moment where most people actually quit. And it's not because it's not working. It's because they don't know why it's not working, and they make up a story that feels easier to believe than the actual truth. The truth being, you didn't do the freaking work. And I know that that sounds a little harsh. And I'm okay with that. Like it's harsh and it's liberating. Because if the reason that your launch, your masterclass, like your challenge, like whatever, didn't go the way you wanted it to go is because you didn't show up enough, like that's actually fixable. There's many solutions to that. That's within your control. So for people who want control, like this is actually a huge relief. It's not the universe telling you to give up or that you're not worthy. It's the universe telling you, try harder, do more. And in a world where I feel like there's such conflicting messages around, like, it's not about trying harder, it's not about doing more. I'm like, actually, it is. It actually is. Like, I don't know who's telling you that you shouldn't have to post all the time for your business to take off. But when someone tells you that, or when you hear someone say that, like they're either at a different chapter in their business or they're simply lying to you. They're lying to you. It does take effort. It does take showing up day in and day out. And it's not easy work. The work is simple though. It's not easy all the time. And life is lifing for everyone. But to be successful in this industry and in your own business, it does take you grinding and staying excited and like digging to new levels that you've never dug before, and then staying inspired. I say that a lot. That's like one of my favorite quotes to say to my clients is like, it is your responsibility to remain inspired. No one's going to do that for you. No one's going to do the work for you. So if you don't love what you're doing, and trust me, there are days where I'm like not in love with what I'm doing. So that's normal. But majority of the time, I'm obsessed with what I'm doing. Like you can't pull me away from my work most of the time. Like we'll be downstairs. It's dinner time and I'm still on my laptop, like working away because I'm obsessed with this. And if you're not fully obsessed with what you're doing and you can't talk about it day in and day out, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. This level of commitment, this level of showing up, this level of being like relentless AF, unapologetic, like going full force, running through brick walls every single day. That is the work. And it only works if you actually care about it. And I care. Like I'm obsessed with this. I really do care about this work. I care about the women that I'm serving. I care about my clients. I care about the transformation that happens inside of my programs. I care about my own transformation. I care about building a legacy that actually matters. And this is where it's like, this is above and beyond making money. But another thing is when I saw those numbers this morning, I didn't feel defeated anymore. I actually felt really fired up. Like I know what's possible when I do the work. I know it's possible. Imagine if I would have posted 50 times. Like, and I also know what happens when I don't do the work. And the thing is like, I'm allowed to have a moment. You're allowed to have a moment. I'm allowed to feel disappointed and I'm allowed to wonder if I'm even doing the right thing. Those are good questions to ask. But you're not allowed to stay there if you want this to go somewhere. And neither am I. And I'm not allowed to make up stories about why it's not working before I even care to look at the facts, or like blame the industry is changing or blame 2026, like whatever the fuck. Gosh, I'm not allowed to be a baby back bitch, and neither are you. So let's talk about like what this actually looks like in practice, because I think there's a narrative like in this online coaching space that if you're good enough, if your content is good enough, if your offer is good enough, then people will just come. Like if you just build it, people are going to come. And I'm telling you, that's bullshit. People do not just come. You have to invite them. You have to create good content and you have to do it over and over and over again. You have to show up and talk about your brand and your business and your offers. You got to show up and create good posts. You got to send emails. You got to talk in the DMs. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I don't want to, let that be a little sign there, Sharon. You have to be everywhere until they can't ignore you anymore. And that's going to take a couple years. Like, I'm not afraid to tell you that. I've been at this for a couple years now. And if you think that this is just going to happen in a couple months or happen overnight, I would rather just like save you the heartache, save you the don't waste your time. because you're not trying to be annoying like when you're talking about this all the time, but you are going to have to become this version of you that is undeniable. And what does that take? That takes work. 13 days of showing up to invite people to a masterclass. That's really, like, in the grand scheme, that's really not much. 16 posts, 16 calls to action, 5 emails, and I got 100 people into a masterclass. That's like, when you really think about it, I'm sure you're listening to that and you're like, I could do that. And I that's how I feel. I'm like, gosh, that's child's play. Like, I can do that. But it does take effort. And I think we've been sold this little lie that effort is bad. Like, if you have to try hard, you're doing it wrong. Ease is the goal. Ease is not the goal. Alignment is the goal. Being lit the F up about what you're doing is the goal. And that requires effort too. Like, getting to clarity, getting to excitement actually requires effort. You're not going to feel that way just by like, okay, I've decided I want to have a business and I've decided I want to make money. All of a sudden, I'm in alignment and I'm excited, and that's never going to fade. Absolutely not. Sometimes alignment like requires you to show up even when you have ish going on in your personal life and you don't feel like it. And it requires you to post again, even though you already posted yesterday and you posted the day before that. And sometimes it like requires you to send the email even when you're worried people might unsubscribe because you've been inviting too much. What's the point of email then? Like, just to have a high number of subscribers? Come on, give me a break. I do not care when people unsubscribe. I'm actually like, when I witness people are unsubscribing, I'm like, good, you weren't meant for me anyway. Like, I'm glad that you exited. That's fine. I'm going to find the people who actually want these emails, who want me to sell to them. Because the people that are meant to work with you, they need to see you. They need to hear from you. They need to be reminded that you exist and that you have something that can help them. And if you're not showing up to tell them that, they're not getting that reminder. They're not getting invited. They don't feel like they're on the edge of their seat wanting to join you. So again, when I looked at those numbers this morning and I realized I only showed up 7 days instead of 13, I didn't think like, oh, I need to be easier on myself. I need to take a break. I need to like, I don't know, whatever the fuck we tell ourselves. I literally thought to myself, I need to do better. Goodness gracious. Not because I'm not good enough, but because the version of me who is a millionaire, the version of me like actually changing lives, she doesn't shut up about this stuff. And the people who are going to come to me, they deserve better too. They deserve to witness me showing up time and time again, fully in my power, fully committed. They deserve to see me doing the work that I'm asking them to do. And if I'm not doing that, if I'm not fully embodied, then I'm not fully leading. I'm just talking. It's like, stop talking about it, be about it. So I'm going to like get on my soapbox just for a minute because I need you to hear this. This is like, obviously effort matters and like staying consistent matters. But at the core of all of what I'm saying, content matters. Like everything, I will say this time and time again. You've heard me say this in prior episodes. Everything comes back to content. Your content is how people find you. It's how they get to know you. It's how they decide if they trust you or not. It's how they convince themselves to join your free masterclass or invest in you, either one. Like, also, just side note, the amount of energy that it takes to invite into a free masterclass and the amount of energy that it takes to promote a $10,000 offer is the exact same type of energy, by the way. So you need to learn this skill because content is not just like a nice to have. It's not a way to stay top of mind. It's not just a marketing tactic. Your content is your freaking business. It's your brand. And if your content isn't working, your business isn't working. And if you aren't showing up in your content, then, I mean, we have our answer of why people aren't joining you. So when I say things like, I'm like focusing on behind the scenes work right now, or I'm taking a break, like when I see people say this, like I'm taking a break from posting to work on my offers, or I don't need to be on social media all the time. I get it, kind of, like I do, but I also know that if you're not creating content, you're simply not growing. It's like one of those things where it's like, I get this question all the time. How many times a week should I post? And I sometimes will have an answer. Like if you are a client in my world, I can understand your life and what you have going on. And I can help you figure out what that number looks like. But at the end of the day, how bad do you want it? because the more you post, the more you grow, period. And you might be building, you might be refining, you might be getting clearer, but if you're not posting, you're not growing. If you're not showing up and talking about your business and inviting people into your offers, you're not visible. And making more money requires visibility. Okay, I feel like I just went in on you. I feel like I don't need to like keep hammering that, but if people just don't know that you exist or that your brand exists or that your offers exist because you're not talking about it, it's time to like change some things. So take this little episode as a refresher that it's important that you don't fully spiral. You can spiral like just a couple spirals, some little baby spirals, but nothing like out of control. It's not healthy to question your entire business model and brand and existence. It's just a matter of like, you got to get to work. Okay. Oh man. Okay. I'm not like mad about that. I'm not resentful about it. I'm not tired of it because this is the work and I love this work. Like, even as I'm sitting here, like telling you this, and you're probably thinking like, damn, I didn't show up as much as I thought I did. Good. That's my whole point. That's the whole intention of this episode is you finding clarity that you know what to fix. And I'm like, okay, so I showed up and posted 16 posts for a free masterclass. I don't even know how much I posted for the paid programs. Like, geez, like you could definitely do more. And that's the gift of this work is that I've worked 9 to 5s, and 9 to 5s, you show up and people tell you what to do. In entrepreneurship and having your own brand and business, you decide what to do. And there's both a pro and a con to that. It's just a matter of you got to keep going. So let's bring this home. If you're in a season where you're not getting the results that you want, I would suggest that you do 2 things. Number 1, if you have data to compare to and you're like decreasing or declining, look at the data, like actually look at it and don't just feel bad. Don't just assume that it's not working, but look at what you actually did and compare it to what you did when it was working. And I guarantee you that you'll find a gap. Step 2, don't be a baby back bitch. Like, I'm dead serious. Don't let yourself fall into victim mode. Don't let yourself spiral out of control and panic. Don't let yourself like make up these stories that just continue to build of why it's not working before you even look at the freaking facts. The facts are going to set you free. The facts are going to show you exactly what you need to do differently. And then you just do it. You don't need permission for that. You don't need validation for that. You don't need someone to tell you it's going to be okay or give you the next best strategy. You just need to do the work. And the work is simple. Show up, invite, create content, be relentless, be unapologetically visible, be annoying if you have to, share what's on your mind. Because the women that want to hire you, they're waiting for that version of you. And they deserve that. Make it easy on them. Whew. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up there because now for some reason my throat is starting to hurt a little bit. So we're going to close this. I just want to take the moment to thank you so much. If you have listened to my episodes, if you've been tuning in, I see you guys, like the numbers are actually kind of blowing my mind and I get a little bit nervous. Every time I look at them, I'm like, oh my gosh, more people are listening. I am both terrified and honored at the same time. So thank you so much. If you are a fan of this show and you would be willing to give me 5 stars or maybe leave a little review on Apple Podcasts, it would mean the world to me. Or if you want to share this to your Instagram stories and tag me, I will definitely repost that. Or if you want to just slide in my DMs and let me know that you are listening, that would also really make my day. Okay, we're going to end there. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope you are healthy and happy and just out there excited about what you're talking about your business and all the good things. Love you so much, and I will see you in the next show.